Out of $41 billion required to provide life-saving assistance next year to a record 183 million people worldwide caught up in conflict and poverty, Afghanistan requires the most. The United Nations has observed in its latest assessment of the situation in the war-ravaged country. In Afghanistan, more than 24 million people require life-saving assistance to prevent catastrophe, a dramatic increase driven by political tumult, repeated economic shocks, and the severe food insecurity caused by the worst drought in 27 years. The UN says it has tripled its efforts in the country following the Taliban's capture of power and the subsequent downfall in the human rights situation in the country.
We never left Afghanistan, and we're there now with a projected program for 2022 three times the size of the program for 2021 because of the various needs and circumstances that you know so well.
Meanwhile, the World Bank's board has backed transferring $280 million from a frozen trust fund to two aid agencies to help Afghanistan cope with the brewing humanitarian crisis. Now, it requires 31 donors to the World Bank-administered Afghanistan Reconstruction Trust Fund to approve the transfer before the funds could flow to the World Food Programme and UNICEF. And while it could come as a breather to an increasingly desperate Afghan dispensation, one UN committee has given a major blow to the Taliban after it deferred its decision on giving recognition to Taliban in the global body. The 9-member UN Credentials Committee, which includes Russia, China and the United States, met at UN headquarters to consider the credentials of all 193 members for the current session of the UN General Assembly. Hence, Suhail Shaheen, who has been the global face for the Taliban, might not be able to represent the Taliban in the UN. While some say the decision has been influenced by Washington, the Taliban has urged the US to stick to Doha dialogue and urged it to release funds for a proper functioning of the country.
They discussed all those matters which are of interest to both sides, including the removal of members of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan from the blacklist and also from the prize list. We discussed that the implementation of the Doha Agreement is a solution for all issues that we are facing, because in that agreement, if it is implemented, normalization of our relations, removal of the blacklist, reconstruction of Afghanistan, investment of American side in the mineral resources of Afghanistan, and in other fields can be achieved. So our request is that the Doha Agreement be implemented.
The situation of Afghanistan has turned from bad to worse, where the security of girls, their education, employment and economics are in doldrums. Facing mounting global pressure, the Taliban have for now said they will allow older girls to resume classes once arrangements are made to ensure they can do so in conformity with what the movement considers proper Islamic standards. However, this doesn't seem to be materializing on ground. Even the most regarded Turk schools in Kabul, where hundreds of students took exams recently, were forced to toe the Taliban line. They have had to make changes to their curriculum. shutting music, theatre and dance departments. Observers therefore say the Taliban promises for now are hollow, as they haven't changed a bit on ground for the welfare of women, children or by and large the welfare of the country.